What's up, everybody? It is me, Joshua Harrell, for WorldVia's website. Throwdown, down, down, down. I need sound effects. I need a title card. I need a lot of stuff. No, I don't need anything. I just need you here. So glad that you are joining us, whether it's live or you're watching the recording. Just glad to have you here. If you are new, website throwdowns are where a member of World Via Travel Network said, please, please look at my website. Tell me what you think. It's so terrible. Please just rip it apart. No, that's not what they do. They are looking for honest feedback, and that's what we try to give them because at the end of the day, we want to make your website your number one salesperson. And when you are the chief marketing officer, the chief operating officer, the sales officer, the CEO, when you're all the things, sometimes your number one salesperson does not do a good job and needs to be told that. So that's what we're going to do today. Really excited to have this session. We are doing this live, so if you've watched any of the last couple of episodes, I have changed out my camera, so hopefully it does not go blank on me because that has been happening. But all that aside, it is live, so bear with. Today we're going to be talking to Mandy from Splendid Getaways. And if you want to follow along, and I do suggest you do that because we're going to do a lot of face-to-face talking along with going over to the website. But if you want to follow along, go to splendid-getaways, plural.com. Okay, so splendid-getaways.com. So go over there and visit her website, and we're going to meet Mandy in a second. But today is a special opportunity because Drea not feeling very well. She's going to be fine, but she said, "Hey, I can't make it today," and that's okay. And then she asked our marketing manager Cole O'Neill to join in her place. So I am excited. This is the second time he's tried to be on the show, but the first time didn't happen. So I am excited to introduce my co-host, which is Cole. Hey, Cole.
Hey Joshua, I am so excited to finally do this.
Well, I am glad to have you here, Cole, and we are not alone because we have a fantastic member. I feel like she is. When I met her, I was like, "You are going to be my equalizer," because she is passionate. She's just as passionate about marketing as I am. So, with that, I'd like to introduce Mandy from Splendid Getaways. Hey, Mandy.
Hello, thank you for asking me to be on and accepting my application to get my website torn apart. I appreciate it.
We are nice. It's all done with love. It's all
Okay, sure.
done with love. Well, I am so glad to have you here, and I'm glad to have Cole here. So, just a little background, guys. Cole joined us this year and has been doing some really cool things. If you haven't checked out Marketing Lab with Cole, you need to because that's you're going to get some really good advice when it comes to marketing, some great skills. Very grateful to have him on the team. But he tried to be my co-host one time, and we just sat here, and our poor member had something going on in their life and wasn't able to make it. So we just sat and looked at each other for about 5 minutes, and we were like, I don't think this is the time. But I did tell him before we got started that I'm glad that he's here with Mandy because you've got three marketers here. This is gonna be a marketing throwdown, I think. I don't know. I don't know.
Good, bad, and ugly. We'll find out.
hmm
Exactly. Robin said, "Torn apart." LOL. Wow. I don't know if I like that, but she did say, "Hey, such a valuable service." I am glad Robin is a huge supporter, and it looks like TJ has clocked the fact that I'm a little Disney obsessed with my background. TJ, yeah, you have no idea what is over on that side. It's a whole wall of Disney stuff. Yeah, it's an obsession. Mandy, did you see it when you were in our office? Our office?
I did see the obsession. Yes.
Yeah, it is an obsession. Uh, hey, Mandy, Robin's giving you a little bit of advice that it's painless. Don't worry. All right,
Thank
guys,
you, Ryan.
we're gonna get off this like vibe. It's so scary. It's not so scary. So Mandy, just give us a little bit of your background. How did you get to us today?
Oh, you mean from the beginning to
Well,
today?
hold on. Let's
Not the full beginning.
how did you get into travel? Let's start there.
Okay, that's a good start. I actually went to Georgia Tech, so I'm here in Atlanta. And the thunderstorms are happening outside the window, so hopefully that doesn't bother anybody. But I studied international affairs at Georgia Tech and minored in French. And my dad was a pilot at Delta. So I grew up traveling the world. My mom's a concert pianist. So with the free flights that we got from Delta, we traveled a lot growing up, and mostly to Europe because my mom loves classical music and the arts. So I have just had a love affair with Europe for my whole life. Um, After graduation, though, I worked for Coca-Cola in the branding, marketing, and branding and sales department. So I have that background. And but when my kids were really, I have three sons, and I wanted to be around them more than I could at Coca-Cola. I wanted to work from the home, and I wanted to reignite my love of travel and sales. So this is how I kind of got into the travel industry. It's only been 12 months since I have been officially a travel advisor, and I'm so passionate. I am so lucky. I don't know how I fell into something that fits my passion and personality as well as this job. And so I'm just thankful that I am around my kids more. But I do think I'm working more hours than I ever did in corporate America. So, but these are hours that I like. So that's how I got here, really. So as much as I can travel to Europe, I'm going to. That's not my only niche, but luxury European travel is 70% of my book of travel, book of business. So it's just so happens because it's where I love that people have gravitated to me to plan those trips.
That's amazing. And congratulations on your 1 year anniversary. That is a
Thank you.
huge milestone. And I I I I just think about when I first met you, and there was so much confidence. You had so much confidence, but then there was also this like, I am scared. Like what did I sign on for? And I remember that it was such a mix of emotions. And
Yeah.
so to sit here with you right now, and for you to have reached a level of success, 12 months in, I'm so freaking proud of you. I gotta say
Oh,
that.
thank you.
It's really cool to watch this journey. Now, when you got started a year ago, was your website the very first thing you did?
No, I did not get introduced. I wanted a website because just from my branding background, I understood credibility and how important credibility is, period. So my first thing I did was get headshots, and then I wanted to establish a good, well, actually, the first thing I did was establish a good brand that I believed in, and then built the credibility. And I didn't really the website was always my plan, but to actually execute a website was daunting for me. My background is not in web design. And then I went to Worlds, and you talked about sites, and you gave us a deal if we were at Worlds, that we could be introduced to sites. And so I started tinkering with sites, and I just developed it from there. Again, I have no background in web design, so it was just me and sites, just messing around on it. But I knew that having a website was important to my credibility, especially in the first year, more so than almost anything else I've done as far as truly bringing in high net worth individuals. They're not. They don't seem to be. I don't seem to be getting any business necessarily from the website, but I'm getting people are going there to check my credentials. People that are going to spend as much money as people spend on my vacations, they want to make sure that I am, a credible, reliable source, and the website I think is providing that. So mostly the role of the website right now. I would love for it to grow into an actual lead, attracting actual leads and the right leads. That's what I would love to get out of our call today, how to do that a little bit better.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And y- I would say the majority of the people that I've been able to work with them at whatever stage they are at, the site is their website is a validator. It's table stakes to have one, right? And that's the thing
Mhm.
that most people wait far too long to establish. But when with your particular niche, there's multiple people that are involved in maybe not in the decision, but in endorsing the decision to choose you. And I'm sure your website has been texted to magnificent others along the way to say, "Oh, hey, this is who I'm working with. What do you think?" And they're like, "Wow, yeah, definitely." So you're not going to see that conversion, that lead conversion there, but it's again that branding exercise, making sure that it's very clear that people understand, are you the person I should work with for the thing that I'm looking
Right.
for? Yeah.
Hmm.
I love that headshots
Yeah.
was the first thing that you went for. I think I probably would be the
Pretty close to the
same
first.
way.
Yeah. Because I
Like,
do feel if you have if you just have a professional look over every single thing you do, then you build trust with the consumer. So I think that the professional headshots were, and I happen to have a photographer from my old job that I knew, and she did them for me in my home office, So, but I highly recommend everybody having really good headshots.
that's awesome. Yeah, I would agree. It's interesting. I'm sure you do it as well. You go to somebody's website for whatever, and then you also just do a skim of social media. And that same person, like the website could be tight on point, and then you're like red solo cup in the backyard on the social media, and it just falls apart. You're like, this is not, or you can't even find them on social media. So you're like, is this even a real human being? I don't know. Anyway, that's awesome. So I think we should pop over again. The website, guys, is splendid-getaways.com. So we're going to pop over there and we're going to do a quick look at it just to get our eyes on it. But this website throwdown is a little different. Mandy has some things that she wants to dig into. She talked about lead conversion. She wants guidance on that or thoughts on that. So I'm gonna really hand it over to Mandy to tell us where she wants to go in the time that we have. So I think you should stay tuned and follow along. I want to say that Robin has already taken a look at your website, and she said, "Love your description. As a fellow adventure traveler, travel advisor, I would love to see more pics." So she is
Okay.
giving you some notes there. So I can't wait. She's already done more than Cole and I have because we waited
Yeah.
until now, right, Cole?
I have not seen it. I did look at your SEO numbers, but I have not seen your website.
Oh, well, I will. That's one of my things I want to ask you about, actually.
All right.
So, I guess since my background is so in branding, my big question for the people watching and for you guys is my website conveying the brand message that I actually want, which is, luxury European, celebration type travel where you really get into a culture and experience the people and it, more slow travel. Um, and the trustworthiness of the brand. I don't know if I would love to get your thoughts on the fonts I've used and the color palette and how the branding talks, how it speaks to you.
So I am just doing a little scroll um, so everybody can get a feel. Um, Cole, since this is your first time, I'm gonna pass over. What are some of your initial thoughts aligned with what Mandy's looking for?
Taking a look as we scroll, I So I want to be very, very nice, and I think it's a great site. I do wish that the first image that I saw was as high quality and beautiful as the headshot.
Okay.
It took me a kind of a minute to figure out what it was, and generally speaking, I like people to just you don't want them to have to work too hard for it.
Right. And my some of my issues are on sites, and I believe this is true with a lot of website builders, is when I look at it on the desktop, it looks a lot better than it does on a tablet. Is there anything I can do about that, or is it just the way it is?
Well,
So you're really gonna.
go
Sorry,
ahead.
Joshua. I'll let you take it.
Oh, so I was just gonna say, um, the way that I approach that is I design more on the preview for the tablet and mobile. So if I make that look right, the where it feels right in those environments. Then when I look at it in desktop, because it won't look the way I want it to look on desktop if I go the reverse way, right? Um,
Mhm.
at least the tweaking that I'm doing, maybe I have a bigger image than I wanted to have, or maybe the logo I'm using has to be a certain size. I can work within the framework of getting my mobile version to look the way I want it to. If I have those guardrails, I can get creative on the desktop side. And I would say I can't speak to it specifically without looking at your numbers. I would say the majority of people that are going to be digesting your site, making that first pass, is probably going to be on a phone. So
Okay.
it's more important to me. People who design it the traditional way, you go from desktop and then you force it into mobile. Um, that's when you have like, well, gosh, I'm scrolling forever to get through this picture, or oh my God, this logo
Yeah.
has taken over the whole phone screen. So I don't, it's not necessarily speaking to your specific, like, here's the design challenge you have trying to make X look like Y, but it is a different mindset when you're building your website to go mobile first. And
Okay.
even in a lot of the ways that you would structure a site thinking mobile first, these are the things that Cole, has it been the last? I want to say it was like the last 8 years, 10 years maybe. Google said mobile first, mobile first. Like that's what they were going to reward you with, even down to button size, font size, things like that. They wanted to make sure that the mobile experience was the best that could be. So in saying that, you're going to get rewarded if the mobile experience is the best experience in a way. Does that make sense?
Okay. Well, that's mistake number one, because I did it on a desktop. So, and as you can tell, like when you look at it the other way, it doesn't translate really.
A good
Well,
rule of thumb is 80% of the traffic to your site is going to be mobile. So start there.
Okay.
yeah. So I want to go. I'm going to go back to the site and pull that up because when I asked you about what did you want to talk about, like right when I went to the website, I'm at the top portion of the website. Let me get back there. And you said you wanted to get our feedback on, and you listed, I want to say upscale travel, European travel. There was something else that you said that was very human and experience related. And right at that point, I was just scrolling. I just had started scrolling, and I'm like, I don't see one human being in the first bit. I don't see what you deliver. I got the architectural note, and I would concur with Cole about just the quality of the image here. But if you've got these families traveling to Europe, I really want to see that because I might not scroll. So right now, if I don't read the words on the page, it is not signaling what you sell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when I get to, I mean, it takes me a minute. I got to get through a lot of text. When I get
I know. Is it
through,
too much text? I mean, that's the other thing.
I would say that, Cole, would you agree? It seems like a lot of text to finally get to who am I going to work with?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think the wording is a bit long, and some of the I think maybe if you had some differentiation in the text style between your headers and your body text, it might help the eye move down the page.
Okay.
But also, yeah, make it a bit more brief and bring the sizing consistency a little bit higher.
Yeah, so the way I've framed it up right now is, I mean, obviously it's not got your logo and things like that, but here I've got things I can do, right? I can contact you, I can look at my story. I've also got click to start planning. I got a great image. To me, I would try to design that landing page, that first before you scroll experience to look like this, to where you've got that strong call to action. And to Cole's point, it's drawing your eye down very quickly. I see, oh, there's more text. Oh, meet Mandy. Oh, I definitely want to do that. And then, I mean, 10 points to Gryffindor because you got a picture of you. And I think people hide, they bury that picture of themselves. And at the end of the day, we're people buying from people. And if I don't see a people, it becomes a problem. So I think you could maybe be a little briefer in some of the
Mm-hmm.
copy that you have in these different sections so people can get the gist, but then they could go deeper. You could have a page that has more of a bio, more information about your specialties, things like that. But I get to meet you first, get a little taste of your voice, and then scroll a little deeper. I love the big call to action, and maybe that's let's talk. Maybe that's a little more. It doesn't have to be. Uh, you're so warm and easy to talk to that I I feel like that needs to be consistent all the way through.
Okay.
So click here. It could just be get in touch today. That sounds more conversation than click here. And the rule is, and Cole, don't slap my hand on it. I know you got to tell them what to do with the call to action, and that click here is important. But I don't know. It's so big that I want it to feel like it's more you talking to me and encouraging me to talk to you. That's just a personal vibe on that. I don't know how you feel about that, Cole.
I actually agree. I feel like the invitation feels a bit better than the do this. Um,
Okay.
and talk it out. Literally stand at home and invite people to talk to you, record it, write it down, whatever you need to do, and try using a variation of what you would naturally say.
Hmm.
Okay. Back to the top photo, real quick. And you guys had mentioned, you know, using example and actually having people. I'm so visually like I feel like everything I do is all about the visuals. So I would want to use a professional photography for that. So do you feel like that's important or not as for your first photo?
I I would say yes, and I
Okay.
think that especially with your niche, if your niche was something else, like a more obscure, I think you can get plenty of couples, families in Europe, and it look right. And I if
Right.
this I'm going to contradict what I normally say about the studies where if people are looking at you or looking to camera,
Hmm.
they draw people in. In this case, thinking about what you sell in your clientele, um, I think an action shot of somebody enjoying the destination as a couple or a family.
Okay.
I think that for some reason my gut tells me based on what I see with this brand, if I saw somebody enjoying their time in Europe, that's what I'm really buying from you. I don't
Right.
know.
Okay.
Versus here I am. I'm in Europe. I don't know. That's my thought.
Right. Okay.
Uh, Now I I have I have a question about you had mentioned that prior to us talking, you had said that you had some changes going on with your business, and that was lining you up for a rebrand.
Hmm.
So now that happens, right? Like life happens, and I shared with you, and you shared it with me. I said, the moment somebody says they're ready for a rebrand and they're a year in, I'm like, you need to pump the brakes, sister, because nobody even knows your brand. You are bored with your brand or whatever. I have a can of responses that go along with it. But sometimes life happens, and you need to make a change. So what does your timeline look like for that? Because like right now we're giving you critiques on your website, but you're about to do an overhaul. So tell me what you're thinking
Right.
about timeline for that.
Well, I was hoping that I could do it over Thanksgiving, Christmas when things are a little slower, and then do like a launch for wave season. That was my thought. And it's not that I'm bored with my brand. I actually really like it. But I think there needs to be some change in messaging that is a little bit more luxury. I didn't know what my niche was when I started, right? Like, as most of us do, it kind of evolves, or we learn and we decide, oh, this is what I enjoy selling. And so I have a much better understanding of who my client is, and what trips I like to plan. And so I want to create a brand around that. And I do know nobody knows my brand yet. So I almost thought it's better to do it now, right? Versus 10 years down the road, where I actually hopefully have a little bit of a local brand. So um, that is kind of the impetus of me kind of getting going on it. So I would love to do it at the very beginning of next year, but I don't know if that's honestly what the thing that I'm worried about is all of the supplier emails that I have and have to change out. I mean, just the logistics of it. I don't know if that's more daunting to me than the website, changing the website. But for this conversation, I'd like to know, how do you really rebrand and launch it and not confuse your clients?
So something from a timing perspective, your thinking is more about when it slows for you. But as
Hmm.
we all three of us know, that the Google overlord is working about 6 months out. Sometimes it's a little
Hmm.
briefer, right? Or it's a little faster. So any substantial changes that you're going to make to your website, this is, and Cole, please chime in if you have a different point of view. But to me, what you referenced was, I need more of a luxury focus, and there's going to be a name change. So what I would suggest from a SEO standpoint, and to make sure you don't miss out on wave season, which is so all the people that are kind of getting stirred up for wave season are doing that in Q4. So
Right.
they're poking around and looking. So I feel like if you go down at that time, you're setting up for a wobble in Q1.
Mhm.
So my thought is that, think about the copy changes that you want to make. Think about the imagery that you want to change. Uh, Optimize your site for what you want to be known for, not necessarily a brand search, because the brand
Mhm.
search is when you have to make that decision to change the name, right? But if
Mhm.
you are changing the name, they're not going to be searching for the new brand name, but they might be
Right.
searching for luxury travel options or things like that. So
Okay.
I would spend the time getting your story right, then
Mhm.
staging that on the site. Go ahead and changing out your headers, your body copy. Maybe you want to add additional pages into the site. But I would make those changes, and then plan for that flipping of the switch to happen, say in December. You can pick a period. What I've noticed, and I'm drawing on my experience with our retail agencies that we wholly owned, as well as just working with thousands of advisors. It's about the first week and a half in December can still be kind of busy, and then it gets
Mhm.
kind of ghost townish. So I feel
Yeah.
like that would be the time when I would make that brand switch. And
Okay.
I want to say, because there are some best practices to signal to Google to make sure site search console, everything like that is making that switch for you to make it smoother. Cole, I think that might be a good marketing lab to talk about some of those details. I'm just saying, plant the seed there.
I would be happy to make sure that by the time you get ready to make the switch in December, that there will be a marketing lab topic on it and a marketing library guide to help you walk through it. Because yeah, a couple quick, simple things. You give Google an update of what you're planning and what you're doing. It's going to jump you ahead by months.
Oh, wow.
So
I thought I had to start over.
no, make it. Pick. Are you changing domains? I would assume.
Yeah. Yes, I would have to change domains. Yes.
So I would get your new one up, like Joshua said, as soon as possible.
Got
SEO
it.
isn't
Okay.
a today or tomorrow game. It's months down the road, and you're going to save yourself so much if you
Okay.
carve out the time, 15, 20 minutes at a time, to just shell out a new site and start getting that SEO visibility now.
Okay. Okay, good.
The other thing you can
And
do to boost that is add a blog.
yeah, I have a very anemic blog on there right now. So that is something I can work on for sure. And I use the site's blog tool, the World VS blog tool to create these blogs.
That's awesome. So
I'm not a writer, so I do need the tools.
no, so what I was going to say is Cole, because he's going by the screen that I was sharing, he didn't see that you had a blog, nor did I see that you had a blog. You really need that in the navigation because
Okay.
the only way I can get to it is if I had scrolled further on the site and got down to this lower portion. So having it up
Right.
here in your top navigation, it's also from a technical aspect, it's saying, hey, this is in the menu, the main navigation. This is a pretty important trail for you to follow. So if you want this blog to leverage this blog to draw in organic traffic, that's a step. So having
Yeah.
your story, contact, or blog, then contact, I think would be a beautiful thing there. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm glad you're using the tool. Now, something that Robin pointed out, so Robin, thank you for poking around on Mandy's site, is on the mobile version of your site, Jason Block's name is coming up as a placeholder for the author on those pages. So,
Well, okay. Why
yeah,
is that happening?
I
Okay.
maybe that is set at the template level. So what I would do
Oh,
is I would contact member success today, and I'm sure the team can help you figure that out. Might be something that
okay.
we've done on our end, but yeah, Jason does not want credit for something he did not do. Um, but that
That's
also
hilarious.
but that's also because that is a different view to your website. That's an important thing to kind of go back what we started with in the very beginning. Uh, Start with the mobile first and then work your way backwards because the default view on every website builder you're working on is the desktop view. And Robin just happened to be poking around your website on her phone, and then she catches something like this. So yeah, everybody, please, when you see those previews, whether it's email or websites, please click those previews because sometimes it draws a completely different view up and there might be some glitch that you want to catch. Cole, I can see you're
And
aching to talk.
don't just post and be like, it's great. Check. Send it to a friend, have them look at it. I am famous for I know what I'm trying to say. So to me, something is very clear. It's laid out perfectly. And I'll
Hmm.
be like, hey, Joshua, can you just run an eye over this? And he's like, I have no idea what you're trying to say. So having another
I would say that.
opinion is really, really helpful and valuable. And it's also because you've been staring at your site as you've been building it and working on it. There's things you're
Yeah.
just going to miss. So having that outside perspective to take a look through it, push all the buttons, play with all the things is going to be invaluable information for you.
Like today.
Yes, exactly. That's what we're here
Yeah.
for. So
And how do I check my metrics and my stats? That was another thing I really wanted to make sure we touched on.
have
Through
you
site.
through sites? Oh, you know what? I'd have to. I can't back into sites here. So we might have to take that as an offline session
Okay.
to go through that. So from sites, you can get some basic overviews of get some insights, and it's good. It's good information. Like that's where I would go to get my information. But I'd also make sure
Okay.
you have free Google Analytics account installed.
Google
Okay.
Search Console.
Yeah.
I
So
haven't
there's
installed, but I haven't looked at it much.
right. The default views, I was talking about this with one of our on one of the website throwdowns. The default views, they're already complex. So there's certain things that I know Cole and I talk a lot about this. It's how many unique visitors are coming to your website? Don't expect
Hmm.
on an agency site, don't expect repeat visitors because why would they? They don't need to. It's not Amazon. They're not shopping, right? But how
Okay.
many unique visitors are coming in? How long are they staying on the website and how many pages are they consuming? Today, you would by default, everybody's going to have a lot of people on their homepage. That is, your homepage is going to be your number one page. But your particular site is set up to where you have one major page, and that's the
Right.
homepage, right? And
Right.
it's great. It's great that you have that. But the next metric I look at is how many pages they consume, and the only way they can consume other pages is through your blog. And here you've made it to where I have to really go pretty deep to get to that.
Okay.
So for you, you'd be looking at how long are they staying on my site and how many inquiries are coming from my website. I, Cole, would you say that's fair?
I think that's completely fair. The most important metrics for you is how many unique users you're getting, how long they're on your site. Because if you're getting a bunch of users, but we call it a bounce rate. If they're bouncing off, 3 seconds in, then they haven't had time to interact with anything. So make sure that you're having enough content to keep them on the page and enough pages to click through because Google sees those clicks as people saying, "Hey, I'm interested in this." So that is going to help you get more noticed, combined with having appropriate keywords and tag structures.
Okay. And one last question, because I know we have to wrap it up soon. But how important do you think lead magnets are on your website? I would like to build. That's another thing for 26 is to build my email marketing campaign. And
You
how does that
absolutely need
help
lead
with
magnets.
SEO? Does it not help?
I
SEO, it's not about SEO, but you're missing that opportunity. They come and they're looking at your lovely site that you've worked so hard on and reading all your beautiful content, and then they go and you have no idea what happens. If you have something they can interact with, you can get an email. Maybe they're not going to book a trip for 2 years, but you can maintain that contact, let them continue to get to know you. So when the time comes, they're going to book with you instead of just finding another advisor.
it's
So yes
also
to lead magnet.
yes, a
That was
big
Everything
okay.
to
fat
lead magnet.
yes. Lead magnet every day, all day. So here's something
Okay.
that I've just it's been proven. I've witnessed it, so it's been proven to me. Is the lead magnet, no matter what's going on with your website, the person that says I want that information is a different type of person. It's separating the wheat from the chaff, right? And the thing about the person that has downloaded that, now they might not read it right away, they might not use it right away, but when they do, if they do, they get to dive deeper into your brand before they get to
Hmm.
buy. So I think that's where your voice comes to life. It's where you really, again, the same things you're doing for the website, making sure you have great pictures that signal what you sell, but you're also talking to them the way they would expect a text message, an email, a voicemail from you.
Okay.
It's a part of them test driving. So I think it's really important. So here's a couple of things. The branding piece is something that we've just told you. We probably put the panic in you because now we've said, do it now, go, 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 go. So I know you're going to take
Yeah.
your time. You're a very thoughtful person. You take your time. So I definitely think an ebook important, just some kind of downloadable that you get conversions on. I also think that you doing Facebook Lives or webinars where you're talking people through working with you or something that you're focused on, creating it might start with only one person or two people in the chat. It'll grow over time. But creating that type of content as another conversion point, a way for people to interact with you. Maybe it's a Facebook Live that you're doing, so it's just in the Facebook community, which might be a great place to start. I think that that would be, you've got request forms that you have throughout the website. I think that's great. Contact me, you've got that. But, and if you have a downloadable, that's another thing. But if I get to hear you present some ideas and having a conversation with me without me having to buy, I think that that will help with that conversion, as well as social media activity and content activity. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that because you're just in a spot where I feel like that would go very, very far. And then on the design side of things, you were asking about the logos that you were not the logos, the fonts that you were using. And I
Hmm.
like the colors. Sometimes things are bolded that I don't think need to be bolded, or it's kind of in reverse. But the thing that I'm not loving, and Cole, chime in here, I'm loving this larger header, but when it starts to get small like this, it it's a struggle for me to read. Um,
Yeah, I thought
I'm
the same
I'm
thing.
glad it's not just me. I was gonna feel old. Um, but yeah, I like them, but only in a really large size. So having a third font option, so maybe you have your very large, more flashy font for your headers, and then you have
Hmm.
a, your body, you know, text font, and then pick a third one that you can use when you need a smaller header, but too small to use a really ornate font that's going to be difficult to read. Because imagine if you're on a cell phone screen, that's going to be even harder. And
Right.
why give people a reason to not like something?
Right.
now another way you, because I do like the font, and depending on where you go with the brand, right? It might be a good overlay font for you to use. So
Hmm.
on social media images or hero graphics or things like that, where you're making it a part of the image, I think that that could be a cool thing. And then maybe you just take your body font and have a larger H2 heading to size. So you're not necessarily
Hmm.
adding more to your families. You can, but I'm just saying, maybe use your more script font for other places. But I do think you've
Okay.
got a great eye, and you're asking the right questions. And I like that. I think this is hard for a lot of people that and you've got a background in marketing. It's a little different thing. It's to separate. I love when people are very attached to their brand because for most of us, our brand is us, right?
Hmm. Right.
But I love that you're looking for that. How do I plus it? How do I make it better? How do I make it easier to understand? How do I make it easier for people to connect with the idea? And those are really healthy questions to ask. You don't need to you don't have to doubt yourself. But if your answer is possibly, then you're in a space where you can explore possibly, right?
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
And connect with the right people. That's where I want to make sure it's the right clients. So I want to make sure
Right.
my brand message is speaking to the right people.
And I think
Yeah.
photography is really going to help with that. I show
Yeah.
the types of families doing the types of things in the types of destinations, and have the diversity of showing everything that you could service as best you can, right? Like
Hmm.
you're not paying for a photo shoot, but try to do your best you can to have that variety, because if the pictures hit, they're gonna read. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what the copy says if the pictures don't hit. So
Right.
anyway, on that note, we are out of time. Thank
So,
you.
so
Okay.
Yeah, it
So
goes
torn
fast.
apart. Just kidding.
Painless.
But I have things to work on, that's for sure. And I appreciate it very much because you can't get better if you don't put yourself out there, right?
Well, I appreciate you, and I know that people watching this right now appreciate you letting us in and sharing the process. So thank you. Anytime when you make those changes, let's check in. Let's maybe do a that was then and this is now session. Yeah.
That would be good, actually. I think that would be great because I'll have to remember everything you said
Well,
and do it right
the
the second time.
This is all recorded here, so you can always come
Yeah,
back to it.
good.
Well,
That's good.
thank you, Mandy and Cole. I think you did a phenomenal job. You could do this without me. It's fantastic to have you here. Thank you for being part of this.
So great to finally be here. I really appreciate it. Had a great time.
Awesome, awesome. All right, guys, we've got to go, but check out more episodes on our YouTube channel as well as so much other content. Uh, please just keep on working on your brand and see you real soon. Bye now.
Thank you.